Some conversations destroy a family, not because you were wrong, because you were the only one willing to say what everyone else was thinking. My name is Daniel, and telling my brother the truth cost me my relationship with almost my entire family. At least, for a while, my older brother Mark was 35, successful, owned his own construction business. Everyone respected him. Then, out of nowhere, he introduced us to his new girlfriend. Her name was Lily. She was 21. At first, I assumed she'd be mature for her age. Maybe she'd already graduated college. Maybe she had years of work experience. Then we actually met her. She spent most of dinner scrolling through social media. She kept calling my mom Mrs. Mark's mom because she couldn't remember her name. When Dad mentioned the housing market, she admitted she'd never paid rent before. The entire evening felt strange, not because of the age gap alone, because they seemed to be living in completely different worlds. Still, everyone smiled, everyone acted supportive. After dinner, I quietly asked Mom what she thought. She shrugged, if he's happy. Dad gave the same answer. My sister avoided the question altogether. Nobody wanted to be the difficult one. Months passed. Mark became impossible to talk to. Every conversation somehow turned into Lily, how funny she was, how beautiful she was, how different she was from women his own age. Whenever someone questioned anything, he immediately became defensive. You're all judging her. Honestly, most of us weren't. We were questioning him. Then came my niece's birthday party. That was the day everything changed. Mark brought Lily, of course. Halfway through the party, while the kids were opening presents, Lily started filming TikTok videos in the middle of the living room. She accidentally knocked over the birthday cake. Frosting covered the floor. My 5-year-old niece burst into tears. Instead of apologizing, Lily laughed. It'll make a funny story. The room went completely silent. Mark actually apologized. For everyone else's reaction, she's just having fun. I looked around. Nobody said a word. My sister quietly carried her daughter into another room. Dad clenched his jaw. Mom stared at the floor. That night, I called Mark. I think we need to talk. He sighed. I already know what this is about. No, you don't. I think Lily's too young for the life you're trying to build. Silence. Then he laughed. You sound jealous. I've got nothing to be jealous of. Then what's your problem? My problem isn't her age. It's that you're expecting someone barely into adulthood to think like someone in their mid-30s. He didn't answer, so I continued, you want marriage. You want kids. You want stability. She's still figuring out who she is. That's not her fault. But pretending it doesn't matter won't end well. His voice turned cold. You don't know our relationship. Maybe not. But I know you. You've changed? He hung up. For the next 3 months, he ignored me completely. Family dinners became awkward. If I showed up, he left. Mom begged me to apologize. For what? For upsetting your brother. I upset him by telling the truth. She didn't argue, because she knew, deep down. She agreed. Then came Thanksgiving. Mark arrived alone. Everyone noticed immediately. Mom finally asked, "Where's Lily?" He quietly replied, "We broke up." Nobody celebrated. Nobody said, "I told you so." Dad simply handed him another plate. After dinner, Mark asked if we could talk privately. We sat on the back porch. For several minutes, neither of us spoke. Finally, he sighed, "You were right." I didn't say anything. There wasn't another guy. No cheating. No huge fight. She just wanted a different life. He explained that Lily wanted to travel, go to music festivals, move to another city. She wasn't interested in buying a house or getting married anytime soon. She admitted she'd only agreed because she didn't want to lose him. Eventually, neither of them could pretend anymore. I kept trying to speed up her life, Mark admitted, and she kept trying to slow mine down. Neither one was wrong. They were simply in different chapters. Then he looked at me. You know what hurts the most? What? You were the only person honest enough to tell me. That sentence stayed with me. A week later, Mom confessed something surprising. She'd been worried from the beginning. Dad had too. Even my sister. Nobody said anything because they feared damaging their relationship with Mark. Ironically, staying silent damaged it anyway. Months later, Mark met someone new. Her name was Rachel. She was 34, independent, owned her own business. The first time they visited together, something immediately felt different. Nobody forced. Conversations, nobody pretended. They challenged each other's opinions, laughed together, planned trips, talked about retirement savings one minute and vacation ideas the next. After dinner, Mark smiled at me, quietly, almost apologetically. You don't have to say it. I laughed. I wasn't going to. Good. Because I've already said it to myself. 2 years later, I stood beside him as his best man, watching him marry Rachel. During his speech, he surprised everyone. There was a time I confused honesty with criticism. I pushed away the people trying hardest to protect me. He looked directly at me. So thanks for loving me enough to risk making me angry. I won't pretend it wasn't emotional, because it was, looking back. The problem was never the age gap itself. Some relationships with large age differences genuinely work. The problem was compatibility, life goals, emotional maturity, timing. Those things matter far more than birthdays. Sometimes people focus on the wrong number. Sometimes they ignore the bigger picture entirely. The hardest lesson I learned was this. Real love isn't always agreeing with someone. Sometimes it's risking the relationship by saying the one thing nobody else has the courage to say. They might hate you for it. They might stop speaking to you. But if your words come from genuine concern instead of pride, time has a funny way of revealing who was actually trying to help. If you've ever had to tell someone a truth they didn't want to hear, even knowing it might damage your relationship, share your story in the comments below. Sometimes the most painful conversations become the ones people thank you for years later.